Hello and welcome back to a new season of the Spill the Soup podcast, brought to you by TC Jewfolk. I'm your host, Marley Comito. It's been just over a year since we created Spill the Soup, and now I'm back where we began, recording episodes in front of my microphone from my parents' home here in Minneapolis, yet this time as an adult with a completed first semester of my freshman year of college under my belt. TC Jewfolk and I originally created this podcast as a way for young adults, parents, and you, to be able to connect to today's teenagers and the voices of Jewish Gen Z in a unique and personalized way. Spill the Soup has and will continue to help me share what it's like to truly be a teenager in today's ever-changing world with anyone older than me who feels a disconnect from the teenagers that they know. In the 8 episodes released last spring, we touched on broad yet relevant topics that many of my friends and I experience daily, such as the benefits and drawbacks of living in a social media-consumed society, how mental health stigma affects us and what we can do to combat it, what applying to college in the middle of a global pandemic looked like, how we can take social action for communities and organizations we support, and so much more. In the midst of releasing each of these episodes, my life outside of the podcast was changing on a weekly basis, something I hadn't really thought to previously include while recording. I committed to the University of Wisconsin-Madison after a long and mentally draining college decisions process. I graduated from my high school magna cum laude, attended my first and last high school prom, and then immediately afterward worked as a camp counselor throughout the majority of last summer. Afterward, I spent way too much time stress buying things and anxiously packing for college, but I began a new chapter of my life as a college student, one that I can now say, as I look back on how the last 4 months have been, has been a pretty good one so far. I'm confident that college is my peaking teenage experience and, spoiler alert, way more exciting than high school. So naturally, if I'm trying to create a podcast that shares what it's like to be a teenager today, I figured what better way to show you guys that than to share the ins and outs of what today's college culture looks like across the country. But remember, I've only been a college student for 4 months, practically infant level experience at this whole extravaganza. There's definitely going to be times where I sit here and think to myself, wait, I don't even know what I'm talking about yet. Of course, there is still so much room left to learn how to do certain things, ways to do these things correctly, mistakes yet to be made, lessons waiting to be learned. You know the drill. But at least for now, I want this season to be about sharing what I do know and what all of the incredible guests that I plan to have join me this season know from their college experiences at different campuses around the U.S. Therefore, in this upcoming season of Spill the Soup, we'll be talking all things college. From finding a roommate, learning to adjust to shoebox freshman dorm living, dealing with the never-ending COVID-19 virus and the notorious quote-unquote frat flu on campus, how to find your people and place at a school with tens of thousands of other people, the influence that Greek life has personally had on me and many others in helping me find mine, Jewish life on campus, and tons more. You can expect dozens of stories, words of advice, and as always, pure honesty. But this season especially, we want to be hearing from you. If there's a topic you'd like me to touch on, a question you wanted to ask, or if there's really anything else you'd like to let us know, we've created our very own email address for Spill the Soup. To get in touch with us, feel free to email spillthesouppod@gmail.com. That's spillthesouppod@gmail.com. And we'll try to answer all of your questions, comments, and suggestions throughout the season. Otherwise, make sure to stay tuned for new episodes dropping every other Tuesday beginning now. Spill the Soup is part of the Jewfolk Podcast Network. Please subscribe, rate, and review the show wherever you get your podcasts. For more information, go to tcjewfolk.com/podcast or email the show and others at podcast@tcjewfolk.com. Thanks for listening.